Get the Jeopardy music.
I don't think
Bum,
we can get
bum.
the Jeopardy music. We would be
Oh,
struck down. But
yeah,
things that are
copyright.
good right now is that we are live on Twitch. Thank you one and all for joining me today, and just being with us. We are here with two amazing individuals from StackUP, a great charity that helps bring veterans and gamers and LGBT and just good people together. And honestly, we like to thank them. Thank them one and all. And actually, I would like to thank our two amazing guests today, Jinxie Rose and Sahara. Uh, why don't you start by telling everyone a little about yourself? I'll start with Jinxie.
Hi, everybody. I am Jinxie Rose. I am a crafter. I'm a gamer. I'm a ukulele playing mermaid. I am the child and, relative of many different branches of the military. I like to give my support to that, especially where mental health is concerned. And I am a lesbian, neurodivergent, anxiety-ridden person. So, yay.
And Sahara.
Oh, yeah. I'm Sahara. I'm a Navy veteran. I am the social media manager for StackUp. So, the person that either makes a few jokes once in a while on the timeline or puts up some serious posts announcing stuff. That's me. Um, I am, I don't know, I love this place. I love being
You're
awesome.
fantastic.
So,
You're awesome. Actually, since you are the social media manager person for StackUp, what I mean, I did a terrible job of actually introducing StackUp. What can you tell me about StackUp and how did you get involved with it?
StackUp, is a veteran gaming group. We're a charity who sends supply crates out to gaming care packages, that's the key word, out to veterans and military overseas. Gaming can help, with the mental health aspect of doing your duty out there, and also afterwards when you have PTSD. There's also, we have other programs. Right now, we're not doing air assaults because of the pandemic, but once we get back onto those, it's going to be a big thing for us. And then there's the PC retrofit crates, where we outfit a veteran with a brand new PC. And then we have our Stack Up Overwatch program. Um, and that's our mental health services. It's a peer-to-peer support system. So, uh, you know, uh, these guys are trained, but they're not like, they didn't go to school for psychology for the most part. Some do, but, um, and that's really like Stack Up's a great group. So,
That's huge. That's amazing. Like that's like a bajillion different things that you're doing all at once. Every single one of them takes dedication, volunteers, organizations, and like you said, it's a lot about mental health. And if we've learned anything from the past couple of year and a half, 2 years, is that mental health is important, and to be able to keep mentally aware, just keep healthy mentally on the inside, I think is so important, so crucial right now. Jinxie Rose, how did you find out about StackUp?
So, just streaming, honestly, because I have a lot of, I have some physical disabilities and I have some invisible illnesses, so it kind of prevents me from doing a lot of things physically. But I was actually scouted by Perky Daisy. So if you're ever in a Stack Up stream, Perky is one of the influencer relations team, if I'm remembering that
managers.
correctly. Yes, big manager. So I felt really cool about that. She scouted me out, didn't know anything about me, had no idea that I grew up in a military family. Like I said, most of my family is military in some capacity. So she asked me if I would be interested in streaming to benefit StackUp. And once I figured out what it was, I just thought it was amazing because I feel like there was that missing link for veterans to get that mental health that they so desperately needed, afterwards or even during. And I loved the fact that StackUp would send the supply crates. They would to our military that's out, just to give them something to take their mind off of the day to day, give them something recreational to look forward to, and then helping not only when they come back when they're trying to reacclimate to civilian society. There does need to be that switch off. Sometimes you do need to be able to focus on a game. And what I really, really, really like, I know Sahara went into a lot of what StackUp offers, but even for somebody like me who's not in the military but working with StackUp, they've offered me the help of the Overwatch program anytime I sound down, or if my own health or mental health is failing. I generally do have 5 or 6 DMs going, hey, if you ever need it, it's here. We just want you to know that you're supported. And that felt really neat too, especially being, again, not a veteran, but grew up in a military family, but also a member of the LGBTQAI plus community. So it feels really nice to be a part of that and to have that support from StackUp already. It's just so great. And it doesn't matter what time of day, there's always somebody that's there.
I mean, even to go into that a little bit deeper, I mean, we've sort of touched on mental health, and that's something I really want to get back to as well. But obviously, we're here today on with GGP, Gaming Professionals, and the thing that you hit on was the LGBTQI plus community, and to have that with the veterans. I know that there's always been like something that it's usually it's not always been like a welcome or an easy sort of community to be in. Sahara, you were talking about earlier about your experiences working and trying to find a group, which fortunately StackUp is a wonderful place to find that community. But can you tell us a little bit about your history?
So I am a queer veteran, and after the military, looking for veteran groups was kind of like a bit of a rocky journey. If you go to these different groups, whether it's on Facebook, like the Facebook veteran groups, the VFW, the Legion, places like that. Um, Not to knock on anyone, but a lot of times they're geared more towards men, especially older male veterans. So if you're part of a younger group, like myself, and you're queer, it can be a little bit of a not really a welcoming place. They're trying to make changes now, but it's kind of at that point where it's like feels kind of late. Especially since Don't Ask, Don't Tell has been gone for wow, 10 years now. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, and they're like still playing catch up. So StackUp, I found them. Kind of, I was actually one of the air assaults. um, and I ended up getting involved because I saw how friendly the team is, and nobody blinked an eye, when it came to being a queer veteran. Nobody really treated me differently, and that's all I really wanted, like somebody to play with that's also like uh, not going to be constantly, um, I guess, you know how it is. You get with some groups and people ask you all these questions
Right, like
and
you
it's a little awkward.
no,
You
like
know?
I'm doing right now. But like you want to be a part of a community. You want to feel like you fit. And
Yeah.
sometimes that you are, when you get into like a new space and then you feel like you're the odd one out, like there's like something like you have you have one of those like the Sims, like in the Sims, they have that green diamond that's above the person's head, and whenever they look up, it's like right in the middle. It's right up there, and they can never see it. And it feels like wherever you go, even if you don't, you look like everyone else, or if you're acting like everyone else, there's this green diamond that's just pointing down on you the whole time, and it's just this. It's a terrible feeling because you want to be known for you. You want to be
Mhm.
known for what you bring to the table, and like, you know, the games you enjoy, the things that you like to do, the hobbies you have, like, not for the diamond, not
Yeah.
for your, the preferences, not for like whatever else is out there. Basically, it's like you want to be known for you want people to see you first rather
Yeah, I don't
than
necessarily want a giant neon sign above my head said "gay as hell," "gay as hell."
I mean,
I
Oink
there's
mean,
oink
nothing
oink.
wrong with a giant gay as hell neon sign above your head, but just saying sometimes you want to turn the sign off. Sometimes
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you want to be, and I feel like that's really one of the things that gaming does very well is that when you're in a game, like you're not you're not that person that you thought you were on the outside. You are, you know, you are a hero. You are a wizard. You are an elf. You are a commando. You are the sniper. You are the healer. You are the thing that you want to be, and people can trust you, and they see you for those things versus everything else. So, just to jump over Rose, tell me about the community. Tell me about a little bit about finding your community, finding like your place, and what makes StackUp feel like a community to you.
well, I find it kind of difficult sometimes to kind of insert myself into community, but because I'm always afraid of uh saying or doing the wrong thing, or joking too hard, or what have you. I'm a very anxious person. It's just I am anxious. So I want to be the best friend possible, but um so what I really like is that they met me at that, and not only my community, they saw me as the like little soft bean that might cry, to like, they allowed me into the space. I didn't talk. We have meetings periodically. I didn't talk for the first like 8 or 9 meetings, but I would just type in chat, and finally somebody was like, "Jinxie, you can talk, right? We're not gonna bite." And I was like, "Okay."
Was
And
that
that,
perky?
yeah, it's like, "Honey, you can
Even
talk."
know.
Okay. So that felt really good. They acknowledged that I'm a little shy, but it was very much so a gentle nudge, like, come join us by the fire, let's have a chit chat. And that feels really good. I feel like that's not a lot. Not a lot of communities will deal with that kind of cryptid, like, wallflower that I kind of can tend to be sometimes. And I think it's really cool that they've managed to like shove me out of that corner, and next to the fire with the big kids. It's nice.
So Sahara, like let's focus in on obviously Jinxie was a little shy coming into it, was a little apprehensive coming into like a community where previously maybe did not feel like a part of the community. Like, what would you say to other veterans out there who are looking for a community like StackUp, where they can sort of, people are not judging them for who they are, but just being a part. Like, what can you say to help bring them forward? What do you think is some of the good ideas that you have out there?
Well, for the most part, I like to tell everyone that they're awesome. But like one of the things about StackUp is we don't really, throw ourselves at you, because we know that can scare people off. We try to kind of lead you in, like get you some like treats, cookies, kind of like just, here's this, come hang out with us, and it's very laid back, it's not one of those communities that's constantly going to be on you to do stuff. Because we know that can be stressful to feel like you are obligated to do these things. But as far as, come over to StackUp, it's come to StackUp. We have Rex shaped cookies. Um, um, but we don't try to, be in your face all the time. We're the place you come to when you need to like escape and relax and like, maybe complain about life a little bit. Um, but we're not the guys that are gonna be making you do things that you don't want to do. So,
What were some of your like first memories of Stack Up? And like what do you remember, like if there was a point that we were part of the group and you were like, I'm home. I'm a part of this community. I feel like I am a part of this group. Is there a moment? Are there several moments? Can you remember like what that was like to think like, oh, I'm one of them.
yeah. So, I was actually at Air Assault. So they took me to PAX West in about 2018. And when I went, I felt I was a little hesitant because of, these were a bunch of people I didn't know. And me with strangers, I'm a little bit like, well, I don't know you. And I think there was a moment where we were playing games and just having fun, and nobody like was pushing me to do the pictures and like go do an event. They were like, "Oh, you're tired? You can go and sleep." Um, that was like one moment that made me feel like these were safe guys. They were trying to push me to do things. Um, Even though they were putting on this big trip for me, they were like, "Well, you can. It's up to you. We're doing all of this for you." And I'm like, "Wow, that's like some pretty great dedication there." But the moment I actually felt like I was really part of the group was actually we went to an event, and this was after I became staff, probably a few months ago. And I'm hanging out with the group, and we're and the rest of staff, and we're having a really good time, and just talking. And I realized, like at that minute, like I felt really comfortable with everyone, and like I felt like I could be myself. I didn't have to hide anything. Um, and there was like just this moment where like if I ever got in a situation where I needed these guys to defend me, you know, they would have my back, and that's the moment I was like, I belong here. So, you know, and you'll see me like people will see me tweet every now and then. I work with some of the best people, so you know, like I'm very like when I feel that I'm very loud about it. So um, but yeah, that's that. I think it was just a conversation we were having at the time that made me feel this is where I'm home. So
That's amazing. And
yeah.
And Jinxie, I'm gonna throw the same question at you. Like, was there a moment or several moments that you were a part of StackUP where you were like, this is the community that I want to be in?
Yeah, there's three. One of which I've already brought up. The basically the hey, we're here if you want to chit chat, but it's cool if you don't, which I thought was really neat because a lot of times with online groups and stuff too, you want to limit who talks, or only a few people have the floor, or maybe like outside opinions not really up, but like almost everything that we talk about, the whole team really talks about, every week that we have the meeting. I mean, it used to be every week now, I think. Anyway, so, just being invited to speak, even if it's something silly like cracking a joke or what have you. The second time actually was this year. I actually ended up having to have my gallbladder removed on the heels of having a laparoscopy at the end of last year.
Ooh.
So basically from November to now-ish, I'm still like healing and still trying to figure out what's going on. So there was at one point I wrote to one of the main guys at StackUp, Johns, and I was kind of crying, but I was like, hey man, so I don't know if I'm going to be okay for a little while. And I know I'm supposed to stream on Mondays, and I'm okay if you want to like give away my spot, because I don't know when everything's gonna be fine. And he's like, okay, breathe, first of all. Second, you're keeping your spot, you're fine. Like, honey, you're worrying about nothing. We are here for you. Take the time. You are more important. By the way, don't forget about Overwatch. If you need to have like some chit chats or anything, let us know if you need anything. So that made my heart feel really good, because I was stressed and anxious, as I always am, and especially about health stuff. And they were there for me, which was just very nice, because a lot of times with like stream teams and stuff, it's very important to not let down the team. And everybody made sure, no, you're not letting down the team. You have to make sure that you're fine before you can worry about the channel. The channel is secondary, which felt really nice. And then the third was actually at DragonCon this year. I ended up randomly running into three of the guys at DragonCon. I didn't even know they were there. They didn't even know I was there, but it was like this kismet moment. We just met like at the back door of the Marriott during the day. It was just like DragonConian magic. And I went, oh my God, hi guys. And they looked at me, went, Jinxie, and they knew who I was. It wasn't like they weren't just a hi, how can I help you? They were like, this is Jinxie. And I was like, they know me. I'm not just like an icon, like, on the Discord. Like they see me exist and I'm real and they know me. Aww. Like that felt really nice. Like I felt the kinship in this magical moment.
That's incredible. Now, you mentioned that you were part of the stream team, and actually I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. Like, what is the stream team for StackUp? Like, you started out this whole thing where it's like you're quiet, you're not talking much, and now you're a streamer. Like, you're a person who's getting out there, you're on camera, you're talking to other people. Like, okay, so first of all, tell them about the stream team. Second of all, how did you decide that you're the sweet, quiet little girl is going to be a big streamer? Because you see, to me, you seem like you're you have the energy, you have the pizzazz, you shout streamer. So like, what is your journey from someone who would just type to where you are now as a well-known streamer that could be spotted at DragonCon?
Right. Well, I mean, the hair helps. Not a lot of people have the teal hair, so
Or even the
usually
frames.
Oh, the frames, yeah.
Yeah.
Zenny Optical, and these glow in the dark. They are my party glasses. Yes, I love these Degum glasses. So I worked at a theme park for about 15 years in Orlando. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I worked there for 15 years. So I also being, an undiagnosed neurodivergent, I have a lot of masks that I can do. And I used to do theater. So like when I am streaming, I'm usually like me, but like with guest service face, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like, I can put on this like, yes, I am confident persona. Or I can adopt this character that is already written because here are the lines that everything that I could possibly know about them is written right here in these lines. But with streaming, it's very different, because at like theme parks, you might take on a role, especially if you're in entertainment, like I was. Again, it was that this is your role, this is what you do, and I'm like, great, I don't have to think about being a real person. Fantastic. So with streaming, especially being a neurodivergent, like invisible illnessy type person, it's kind of a strange in between. You're not really a character, but you're not really like a person. Like you're just kind of this. You're on my TV. You're like a TV person. So like there's that leeway where they're like, oh, you enchanting little glittered person, yes, you go take a break, and everybody's so cool. But then like if they see me in real life, like I mean, I tap out of social situations 20 to 30 minutes in. I might let everybody else talk for a little while, and I might absorb more, or I might flake and cancel because I can't handle the pressure. It's what you do when you just never know. But so doing that, I was able to kind of come out of my shell, figure out who I am as a person, which has been kind of neat. Because again, when you mask at a theme park for 15 years, you kind of don't know who you are for a while. Like I knew I was a lesbian. I knew there was some kind of anxiety disorder and PTSD there. But I definitely had to relearn who I was in the last few years. So with the StackUP stream team, again, on Mondays, so StackUp is a mature channel. You can come and talk about pretty much anything. You can curse a lot. Funny story, I run a family-friendly channel on my stream. So Mondays, we call it Monday Word Mondays, where, we can use Monday words because it's Monday and it's StackUp, and we can curse at the sky if we want to, and it's nice. So for that, I generally play a lot more like scarier games, maybe like much more involved storylines, maybe thought-provoking. We might talk more about military life with neurodivergence and autism and PTSD and things like that. But the stream team is really cool. There's so many of us streamers that are on there. The goal is to have constant coverage every single day, all through the night. So it's just StackUp.org has a bunch of different streamers that just rotate out. We all have our own schedule. I do 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Mondays, except for tomorrow because I have a doctor's appointment. But yeah, don't come find me. I'll be a liar.
Nope.
But it's really neat. So, no matter what time, the goal is to have somebody streaming on that channel at all times to talk about StackUp, the different services that StackUp can do, to have that fellowship, to offer that avenue, like for Discord, to if anybody's needing somebody to talk to. It's just it's like an extension of StackUp and the Discord and the Overwatch, and it's just, and there's like the veterans StackUp group as well as the veterans and allies group. It's multifaceted, which is just beautiful.
That's amazing. That is fantastic that you've been able to not only find this group, but also find like your own voice within it. The fact that you're able to sort of project and to be a part of like this world that helps so many people out.
It's very empowering.
And amazingly so. Sahara, like going a little bit back to the veteran side of things, what are some of the ideas, or what are some of the I guess what would you like people to know about the needs of veterans right now in the United States, or like some of the things that StackUp is looking to do to help those veterans out right now?
Well, a major thing I noticed as I was getting out of being in the military and kind of settling into civilian life, the transitional process was actually really difficult to do without a support system. I had my family, and but the thing is, my family did not understand like where I was coming from mentally. Um, the way the military works is you are conditioned to think and act a certain way. So afterwards, there's kind of some deprogramming you need to do in order to successfully settle back into civilian life. And if you don't have people within your support system that can understand and help you kind of settle back in and transition and um, like rebuild your skills, it's actually it's a really hard time. And it's part of the reason I think, anyways, that some people, after being in the military for so long, have a hard time resettling into civilian life, and you end up with people who have problems, especially with like mental health and even homelessness. The so Coming out of the military, um, there needs to be a net, like a safety net for people to fall into of support groups that can help with that transition. And as whether it's giving people resources to help with the deprogramming, because there are things you learn in the military about how to act that are not really normal in civilian life, and then there's the kind of the conditioning you have to undo. Everything you did was to be tough and survive, so you come out of it, you've got mental health problems. You don't really know how to talk about them because you were taught, kind of keep it shut in. Um, and I mean, they are trying to change that. It's a very slow process. And then as far as StackUp is going, we try to offer people, that a little bit of that safety net. Come in, relax, talk about some things that maybe you're having trouble with. We can try to help you think through it in terms of civilian life, which is part of the reason we are mixed in with civilians, like we have, and welcome civilians as part of StackUp, because part of that transition is also having people that are already in that civilian life that can help you feel a little more normal and understand at the same time that you need that extra push, that extra help. So I think that's one of the big things. So
Absolutely. Jinxie, you come from a very you said your family was military.
Mm-hmm.
Like, talk to me. Like, what are some of the things that like people need to know about just like allyship? Like to be like obviously like I'm not in the military, but I would like to help. Like, what are some of the things I can do to become a better ally to people in the military?
So it's gonna sound kind of silly, but I, coming from somebody who does have anxiety and PTSD from various different things, understanding what anxiety and PTSD can do to somebody, especially if you put yourself in the mindset of possibly what even just a fraction of what you think the military and boot camp and whatnot could involve. Um, when you get back out of the military, there's a lot of things that are almost alien. You know, you might hear people screaming and having a good time, but that could trigger right into some kind of panic, fight or flight. The like a back say a vehicle backfiring, the sound of almost like what a gunshot would sound like, even if it echoes, even if it's slightly different. There are certain frequencies, like I know somebody who there was a recall on earplugs because they had given them to the military and they were failing. So there are people who come back with tinnitus. So they hear constant ringing in their ear because of these various things. And these, I mean, granted, again, that they might be getting compensated for these disabilities, these things, but a lot of times, those specific battles behind the scenes, but what you might not even see, struggling with the VA or a therapist to even acknowledge any of these things as a problem that needs to be worked through. Maybe not trying to scare somebody, like running up, especially right now, it's Halloween time. Everybody wants to be like, ooh, scary, funny. But if you run up on somebody who has combat training, and you don't understand that they might have PTSD from things that they actively experienced in the field, you could get hurt because they may not be able to stop quickly enough. It's just it's there's fireworks, there's 4th of July. There's some folks that I know that came out of the military. 4th of July is their favorite holiday. They love it. Others, having the kaboom booms happening every few minutes, it kind of just depends, where you were, what you were experiencing. Even on the ocean, there's some folks that once they come back from, say, the Navy, they hate the water, or they don't want to deal with anything in the water anymore. So I had somebody that I knew that went into the Air Force that was afterwards deathly afraid of heights. It's just, you don't know what could change for you being put into these very critical, very adrenaline inducing, and again, like Sahara was saying, the conditioning that you do have to go through, where you are trained that you are or could potentially be under attack at any time. It's very it's different, again, when you return to civilian life. It's not a switch, it just doesn't turn off. You can't just be like, well, I'm not in the military anymore. So, hearing an accident outside, hearing anything could really it's damaging. And I know a lot of people in my generation were raised, there's nothing wrong with you, there's no such thing as mental illness, so we're gaining traction with reminding people that it's actually okay to acknowledge mental illness and get help for it. It doesn't make you less of a person. And to stop teasing, because there's sometimes like, oh, whatever, like you're fine, you don't have PTSD is for wimps. And it's like, hello. Can we be a support system, please? Just being there for people, and especially as a civilian, again, we might not be able to be outfitted with the conversation. Like if somebody has seen death and we have not, being able to talk somebody through that trauma or the death of somebody that or the loss, or having to help your friends who you might have served with, who are dealing with being an amputee, being critically disabled, being any of the number of things that could in fact happen to you in these heightened situations. Just being there for people or helping them get the help they need, I think, is the most important thing we can do.
Absolutely. Sahara, like, obviously, again, mental health is one of the big issues that, I mean, everyone's sort of dealing with. What, as a veteran, like, what do you see? What do you see as some of the changes happening in sort of like how people are viewing mental health? What are some of the things that you would like to see? And then, just how do you think StackUP is helping people out deal with mental health and to sort of support people after they come out of the military?
So a big thing that's been happening is the stigmas of mental health, are starting to, well, they have been for a while, but they're um, kind of, I wouldn't say disappearing because you still have plenty of people that are gonna, um, you know, oh, mental health, oh, you have anxiety, that's bad, depression, no, just think more positive. But but that's changing, especially with this younger generation. Even younger uh people going into the military, they're not going in with those same thoughts of, if I get depressed, if I get PTSD, if I get anxiety, there's going to be, it's the absolute end of the world because everyone's going to think I can't do anything great. And that is something that I have been hearing is changing in the military. They're trying to get you to get treatment, um, and also medication if you have to go on it. There are still some rules that are, stuck in the old problems. Like one major stigma as far as mental illness is if you express any idea, like any kind of violent thinking, they'll take your weapon from you. And that gets a little problematic if you are in a job in the military where you need to be able to carry a gun. That gets to be hard to deal with because it's basically like they're telling you they don't believe you can do your job anymore. And it I don't know if that's ever going to change, but I do like some of the other things. I still have friends in the military. Um, and some of them have started having things like anxiety and depression, and they're talking to people, and actually, going to, therapy and the like. When I was in, and I started expressing that I was having problems with anxiety, I had to go to an outside counselor. And then once it was deemed that I medically, like my anxiety was too much and then I had epilepsy, um it was just decided after that, I was useless. And I was not well treated. Now granted, epilepsy is just one of those things where it's unpredictable sometimes, so there's really no exceptions there as far as separating people. But as far as the anxiety goes, um, from what I've been told, if I were getting treatment for that now in the military, it'd be a little different than back then. Because back then, when when my ship found out that I was having severe anxiety, they were like, uh, they were starting to look at me differently, and it was just a stigma that once I had something wrong with me, there was nothing that I could do well anymore. Even though I was really good at my job. So, and then post military, talking to people and mental health is people are a little more open, I think, and I do think maybe social media has had something to do with that, where people are more willing to talk about the mental health problems they're facing. And I mean, we see it on social media all the time. People talk about their anxiety, their ADHD, their other depression, um, and other mental health disorders that are out there. There's more people talking about it, and it's good because it's one of those things that helps us try to understand each other more. Um, I think it builds empathy. And that's something we really need a whole lot more of in the world is more empathy.
You're here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But as far as that goes for veterans, I'm hoping that means that it makes it so that, we're getting better treatment, and people are putting in more effort to make sure that we're getting better treatment. And as far as StackUP goes, we're creating this community, this group where people can fall back and try to talk out their problems and like actually be open about, in a safe environment, you can be open about what's going on with your life. And, our stop volunteers, they're trained to, try to be as empathetic as they can about what you're going through. So, and I really like, it seems like such a simple solution, but with everything out there in the world, the people that come in and take on and volunteer to like hear other people's mental health battles, they're pretty amazing. So yeah, I think what StackUp does, what the Overwatch program volunteers do, and offering this safety net is it's a big deal. And every single one of those volunteers is awesome. So they really are. Yeah.
That's amazing. That is something that is desperately needed, and I'm glad it exists. Glad StackUp is here to help out with so many veterans, to find a community, to find the help they need, to not be judged by who they are, and to have some fun.
Yeah.
And so with like the last couple of minutes here that we have, let's talk about games. Like what video games, like what motivates you, what makes you happy, like what is the thing that you like to play? I'll start with Jinxie.
Well, I am a mixed bag, honestly. I got into gaming with the original Nintendo Entertainment System, the little NES. I've been playing all the way through. I have been loving having a Nintendo Switch, so I go to my soft and cozy games like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley. I really like, just time wasters like Cookie Clicker or pixel art. There's a pixel art one. It's just grids and you color them in. I love it. I love it. It's just sometimes coloring pixels. That's what it is. But I am also a horror fan. So when I'm feeling like extra spicy or whatever, I'll go in and play Phasmophobia. I'm like 1,500 levels into Phasmophobia, and I just love it. It excites me, and I like with gaming, especially when you're talking about things like mental health and whatnot, that you can play a game, so you can bring attention to the fact, yes, we're having fun, we're having this conversation, but we're also having fun, and just kind of subtly, for me, kind of dropping like, yes, I have anxiety. It's kind of that segue. So like people be like, whoa, really? Me too. And it kind of helps kind of soften a little bit, and then kind of just gives you a place to chill. But yeah, Phasmophobia, if you ever want to watch me basically just hide in a corner crying, like, it's a great game. I love it.
Sahara, do you play any games? Like what's on your list?
I'm a what I call an eclectic gamer.
Sure.
I will play anything that looks interesting to me, just because I want to see if it is actually interesting. Like, is this actually going to be a good game? But my mainstays are actually like The Sims. Being able to go in and create these characters, build these houses, give them these perfect lifestyles, or totally destroy their lives.
Or totally destroy them.
Yeah, I do sometimes get in like a little bit of a sadistic mood where I go through and I just completely give them a terrible life.
Oh no.
And then there's the I like an RPG. RPGs are I get to pretend to be somebody else, and it's usually this person that's doing these awesome, amazing things, and explore these places that I'll probably never ever get to see. Like even Assassin's Creed, like that's a big one for me. Obviously, I'm never going to visit ancient Greece, but getting to play in this world and then explore and meet all these NPCs, especially if they're very lively feeling. It's so it's so amazing what you can do in video games. Even as a kid, I loved it. That I could do all these insane things in games, but now I'm older and the games have gotten even bigger, um, brighter, prettier, and the
Mm.
amount of stuff you can do now is just the escape is so easy when there's these worlds that you can go into that are just nothing like ours.
Yeah.
Um, I could be having one of the worst days and I can go get on a video game and I can either play something like a first person shooter and just get out the rage or I can go to something like get on a ship in a game and sail until all the feelings are gone. Like I've sailed away all of the things in the world that are bothering me. And that's amazing. I think that video games can do that for people.
Oh my gosh, you're making me want to get back on Final Fantasy 14.
For people who are watching this, what can they do? How can they be a part of StackUP right now?
Right now,
Yeah, right now.
they could drop into our Discord. It's discord.gg/stackup.org. Like spelled out .org. And yeah, I mean, once you drop in, you could either if you need to use our stop services, you just go, hey, I need someone to talk to. And somebody's usually right there, like, oh, you can talk to me. We also have the um if you want to volunteer for anything, we have all kinds of ways to volunteer. You can be a game night lead. You can join the stream team. There's a little process for that, but you know, uh, it's not a super, super harsh process, but it's still, it's an application process. I have a writing team that I run, um, all great guys. So if you like writing about video games,
Oh,
we can get you started there.
that's fantastic. What do you have them write about?
Game reviews, tabletop gaming is a big thing that that I push to get,
Oh,
and
nice.
we have these really great tabletop gaming reviewers, and because not a lot of people write about that.
It's true.
Eh,
It's
yeah,
very true.
and yeah, and then fundraising, that's a big one.
What kind of let's because I'm also interested in tabletop gaming. Like, what kind of tabletop games do you think? What are tabletop games you're interested in right now? Yeah.
So I've actually been playing Villainous a lot.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, I have two younger siblings. Well, I have a younger sibling and my nephew.
Sure.
My youngest sibling is 10 years old, and my nephew's 8. So I make them play Villainous with me. And there are some various like little D&D groups that are, around our Discord. I do know that Sketch runs a D&D group. And then there's as far as our tabletop gaming nights, the sorry, I had like a speech problem.
That's okay.
It's okay.
The Dayton, Ohio Stack, that's the other program. There is the Stacks program, where people have physical volunteer days where they go and clean up and or they do game nights. And the Dayton, Ohio Stack itself does a lot of tabletop game nights. And yeah, I mean, that's something people can get involved with as well, is starting a stack and doing tabletop gaming. So,
Yeah. Jinxie, you were actually talking to me before we started the stream about your RPG campaign.
Yes.
Tell me if you can share what you can with everyone, and then obviously, how how do you think that helps? Like, this is one of those things where it comes to mental health and things like that. I think is such a great way to sort of dive into the mental health aspect. So, take it away.
Yeah, so I really like D&D. I'm there's also other systems, like there's a Pokemon D&D one shot that I'm going to be doing on October 30th. I'm going to be playing a Jigglypuff. It's only
Sure.
the best Pokemon. But what I really like about tabletop RPGs is the fact that you take on these other characters completely outside your own, and you really get to know, you dive into the nitty gritty of each of these characters. And I of course generally end up writing characters that are very, very sad or have great loss or whatever. But what's really cool is that you're kind of in control of the character that you make. And if you're a character that's just super chill, you can just have a very chill character. If you want like the drama, you can make your character with a lot of jilted past or what have you. And it's just a fun way to kind of step outside of your reality, just to become somebody else, to go on these grand adventures for a little while. And I just think that's just neat. you know, it's just daggum neat.
I love
Um,
it.
yeah, I love it.
So just to wrap things up, where can people find out more about you, Jinxie? Obviously,
Me,
you have a
yay.
stream, you have
I
socials. Like,
do.
where, if people want more Jinxie in their lives, where can they find you?
Well, yes. Well, the central hub of the Jinxie system is going to be jinxierose.com. That will be every single one of my links that are available. However, if you don't want to stray too far off of Twitch, if you just search me, Jinxie Rose, in the search bar, I'm right there. You'll see my teal hair. And I am Jinx Rose on every social media. So hopefully I won't be too hard to find for you.
Sahara, obviously you're doing socials, but I guess if you have anything else, or how can people find out about StackUp on other socials?
well, StackUp can be found at stackup.org everywhere. We're even on TikTok, which has been a lot of fun to try to play around with. As far as myself goes, I'm Darth Saga Swag
Of
on like
course you are.
on all of my socials. Um, don't ask me the story behind
No,
that.
I'm not
It's a
going
long
to.
story.
I don't. I already have one. It's up here, and it's perfect.
Yeah, but I'm usually on Twitter. That's where I- anybody can interact with me. I am very responsive. If I'm on socials for StackUp, if I'm on my own socials, I'm usually on all of our socials like all the time. So, if you interact with my account or the StackUp account, I'm usually going to respond. So, you know, just find me there.
It's perfect. And once again, thank you to StackUp to bring you both together. It was fantastic talking with you about military life, about StackUp, about LGBTQ communities. And once again, thank you to GGP to help make this happen.
Yeah, thank you.
We
Yes,
have,
thank you.
we have events every month, uh, and yeah, we're not done yet. We still have a little dancing to do. So I will